Once, in a time before time, God breathed life into the universe, and the light gave birth to angels, and the earth gave birth to man, and the fire gave birth to the Djinn, creatures condemned to dwell in the void between the worlds. One who wakes a Djinn shall be given 3 wishes. Upon the granting of the 3rd, the unholy legions of the Djinn shall be freed upon the earth. Fear one thing only in all that is. Fear the Djinn.
Other than your breakdown, how's the rest of your week been?
Pretty good. We're starting gearing up for a new area. I think it's next week. The end of next week is the deadline for the current excavation site that we've got. So I've been setting up the next one to do. Basically, it's just down the road. So laying out fencing and getting my head around which way the machines are going to go. It's like 3 fields. But then there's a footpath that runs through, a public footpath that runs through the middle that we've got to preserve, and there are hedgerows that have got to be preserved, and trees that are being preserved and stuff like that. So there's a lot of messing around with working out one-way systems and pedestrian routes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see if the weather's good, because I think for the next couple of weeks I'm just going to be stood watching that machine working and stripping the soil. So I'm hoping the weather stays good, because it's just going to be a lot of standing around.
If it's anything like it is now, like, it's lovely down here.
I mean, it's
about 20 degrees, yeah. And
we've had the same, so I'm hoping it stays. I'm hoping this is the start of nice sunny summer weather.
Yeah, same. I mean, do you ever get? I mean, I feel like you're quite an extrovert, outdoorsy person anyway, because of what you do as well. But do you ever get the guilt of, like, it's lovely outdoors, the guilt, and like, I should be outdoors doing stuff, but at the same time I kind of just want to maybe chill, or I've got to do something indoors.
Sometimes, but not so much when I'm on site working.
Yeah.
If I've got a long stint writing reports and I'm working indoors, then yeah, I'll think it's Saturday, Sunday, whatever. Yeah. It's a nice day. I probably should leave the house. But when I'm on site, I don't care really what the weather's doing on a weekend. I'm quite happy. I want to be in with my stuff and basically catch up with doing things I don't usually get a chance to do during the week, gaming or movie watching or whatever. So
I could definitely say the same. I think, yeah, sure. Constantly active during the week, and it's like those are the 2 days that, happy to do a bit of work, but I need that downtime. Yeah, I need that bit of downtime. But yeah, hopefully it sticks up. I mean, it's not bad recording in the middle of the day. It's quite chill. Got nice natural daylight glistening on my face. As you can tell, I already started recording.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, of course you could tell. Of course you could tell. I actually had quite a nice little thing this week. I went to the theatre.
Oh right.
I went a bit of culture this week.
Yeah.
On top of watching today's film.
I mean, horror movies are culture, but
especially this one. I went to see the new show called Ain't Too Proud. It's a musical show about the Temptations group.
Oh, okay.
The Motown group. It's fucking great.
Nice.
I'm not the biggest, shall we say, Broadway musical. I think I saw Jersey Boys. I think I prefer the sort of biopics like that, about the groups, rather than
Boys. My parents were big fans of that one.
That was great. I think I prefer these to, like, your Wicked, your Phantom of the Opera sort of shows. But that was really good. That was really cool. Actually, to be able to say I've done something. Most weeks nowadays, I've been at work, come home, sleep, work, come home, sleep. No, I did so. I went out to the public. I went out with the public at large this week.
The real world, out into the real world.
Yeah.
And it wasn't too bad.
It wasn't too bad, and especially got upgraded seats as well, so that was quite tasty.
Oh, very nice.
And as you can see, yourself and gentle viewers,
the wall
is upgraded. There is. It's not quite horror, but there's some scary games there. But my other passion in life, video games, the video game collection.
Big. I'm seeing more PlayStation stuff, I think, but we got some Xbox, some 360 titles down there. Very, very good.
We got the PS2s, we got the 360, we got a couple of Xbox Ones, we got the GameCube, we got the Wii, we got the Wii U, we got the Switch, we got the PS1.
Oh, yeah.
And right at the bottom, which you can't see, all the way at the bottom, is the Japanese collection.
Ah.
And then, actually, what you can't see, what I'm going to show you right now, is up here.
Ooh. Ooh.
We have
GoldenEye N64.
The Collector's Edition GoldenEye N64. A couple of other things need placing, scattering them around. We got my bobbly head Krusty.
Nice. What's the other Simpsons thing next to that?
This is interesting. Friend of the show, Nick. You know Nick. From your D&D days.
Yes.
You got me this, my birthday. This is a Simpsons I Can Read Your Mind donut game. I don't know how it works. I have no idea how it works, but it's one of these collectibles that I just want to keep in its packaging.
I mean, that's pretty unique, I'd say, as far as any merchandising goes.
Yeah.
But is it like the 20 questions, like the Who Am I?
I think so.
Was it Akinator, the app with the genie?
Yes, that sounds right.
Where you think of a celebrity or whatever and answer yes, yeah, it'd be that kind of thing.
I believe so, yeah, because the buttons on it are like no, yes, sometimes, unknown. I have no idea. I've not really looked at it, but like I said, it's quite a cool piece of merch, so it kind of just is. It is part of the collection. It is what it is.
Nice.
Yeah. It's the wall is building, but I think over time, I'm gonna have a new backdrop that comes up for the pod, especially for the pod, a nice horror backdrop, and I haven't worked it out yet. All my other stuff, like my NECA figures, are on display downstairs, along with my 4Ks, because they're in the theatre. It's not a living room; it's the theatre.
It's the theatre, the home theatre.
Yes, they're in the home theatre. So I can't. As much as I want everything in the cave, you've got to spread it out a bit.
Yeah. You want the movies where you're going to be watching them.
I did find these though, which I'm rummaging through. I don't know why they were loose. They are the postcards for the Universal Monster Blu-ray,
nice.
Which we'll be doing next week, folks.
Yeah.
So, I'm thinking I might try and frame all these. But,
that's a good shout.
I think that's the wall, the theatre. That's about me for
that's you.
What we've been doing. So I guess without further ado, then, I reckon it's a welcome back to the Dreadcast, folks. It's one of those.
Episode 42.
Now this is the problem. The longer we go, the harder this is going to be. I was struggling to remember which episode this was. It is 42.
I mean, I looked about 5 minutes before we started this call and still struggled to remember. But yeah, 42.
42, and yes, today's episode is night and day compared to last week.
I'm glad you said that, because I wasn't quite sure when you messaged earlier.
Oh, when I said, what did I say? I said, this episode will be fun. No, I meant that. I meant that genuinely. Yeah, okay. Yeah. I genuinely meant that because last week was fun. It was a fun rant, but the film in question was just dire.
Was anything but fun.
And I haven't thought about that film since. It's not one that stuck with me. It was so bad. It's just. I don't
like waking up in the night with cold sweats, thinking,
I've got to watch it.
It's again. Okay. You never have to watch it. It was just a movie. You never have to see it again.
And it won't be part of the collection, that's for sure.
Oh, not at all.
Yes, welcome back to the Dreadcast, episode 42, with myself, Tom, and the lovely Aidan. Today's episode, we will be doing Wes Craven's 1997. I want to say classic. I want to say, what's a good way to sum this up? classic falls in the classics, you know. Like
I think people have fond memories of this one. There was a couple of people got in touch on Twitter when I posted that I was watching this for the pod, and they were like, "Oh yeah, great film," and I think it's fondly remembered.
I agree.
I must admit, I mean, that's how I chose. Well, that's why I chose it, because I have fond memories of it. And watching it, I think it held up to my memory of it. Yeah, I mean, it's not a 10 on 10 bona fide must see classic, but I think a lot of people will go, yeah, Wishmaster, that was pretty fun.
Oh, we're doing Wishmaster, by the way, folks. Yeah, a fun, fond romp down memory lane. How's that?
Very 90s.
We'll get to all of that. We'll get to all of that. Couple of notes before we do get into today's episode, Wishmaster. You briefly mentioned the Twitter. Do check the Twitter out at the Dreadcast and the Instagram at the Dreadcast, and our personal Twitters are below. And you can find the podcast and all past content on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Podbean, Amazon, and YouTube. Or we're searching the Dreadcast. See, it's all
very smooth.
It's all one name. It all kind of works when it's just one name.
You're getting good at that.
I'm rolling. I have a big coffee as well going on. I'm buzzing. Let's go.
Energy.
You give it about an hour into this pod, and I'm going to be tilting this chair and.
You need to be careful with that.
There we go. There we go. Anyway, a couple of notes just before we do get into it. Something of interest. As you can, we'll get before we even get to the Wishmaster. I've been sent something that angered me.
Oh,
I have to read it. It's a review of Netflix's Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Oh.
4.5 stars out of 5.
What?
Here we go.
What?
A Bloody Triumph, the title. And it's quite long. I'm just going to skim through it.
Sure.
Netflix's 2022 rendition of TCM proves to be a blood-drenched triumph, delivering a chilling and masterfully created horror experience. False. From the opening scene, the atmosphere is thick with tension, drawing viewers into the sinister world of Leatherface and his family. False. The cast... Here's a good one. The cast's performances are commendable, breathing life into the well-known characters. There was only 2 well-known characters in this film, while infusing them with fresh perspectives.
One of them.
Yeah. The standout is Mark Burnham, who delivers a captivating portrayal of Leatherface. No. Striking a delicate balance between monstrous brutality and a glimpse of tragic humanity. Yep. As we continue, what sets this version apart is its dedication to practical effects. Okay, the original didn't need practical effects because it was all in the implication. It's the implication, Dennis. Each kill is meticulously crafted, sending shivers down the spine and so you telling me all the kills on the bus were meticulously crafted?
Yeah, I mean, absolute nonsense.
Absolute nonsense. The cinematography and production design are top notch. The desolate Texas landscape serves as a haunting backdrop, enhancing the feeling of isolation and primal terror. Combined with the spine-tingling sound design, and I don't even remember that, and chilling musical score, the film creates an immersive nightmare. This person just seems to have got a dictionary and just...
Does this person work for Netflix?
They might do.
Did Netflix pay for this?
It's worth noting the screenplay manages to pay homage to the original.
What? When?
But it's meant to be a new sequel to the original.
Yeah.
How does the screenplay pay homage to it? As in the script, the screen... No. Offering a satisfying blend of nostalgia and innovation, the narrative keeps viewers on the edge of their seats, because I wanted to leave. Okay, here we go.
My own house.
Yeah, I wanted to leave. In an era of countless horror remakes, yes,
Okay.
Netflix's Texas Chainsaw stands out as a faithful yet bold reinterpretation of a genre defined. It's not a reinterpretation.
No,
it's a new sequel.
It's a sequel.
It's the
Like
It's the second or third attempt of a sequel. No, it's the second attempt of a sequel to the original. That's it. It's testament to the studio's commitment to quality storytelling and the willingness to push the boundaries of horror cinema. In conclusion, if you're a fan of visceral, bone-chilling horror, this is a must-watch. False.
No. Watch something else.
Captures the essence of terror while delivering a fresh and thrilling experience. Brace yourself for a heart-pounding journey into the macabre world of Leatherface. As Netflix, there's that word again, Netflix, once again proves it's a...
Absolute nonsense.
As Netflix once again proves its mastery of the horror genre.
About what? I beg your pardon? What else have they done?
Netflix proves its mastery of the horror genre. I had to read you that one because it was
What?
It blew my mind how brain dead that review is.
Yeah, that is just being. They must have been paid for that. They must have been paid for that.
Yeah, I don't know who it was. But
that is not. They've either not seen that film,
or have no idea about any other Texas Chainsaws.
Yeah,
like, I've never watched any of the others to comparison.
Yeah, no, that is absolute nonsense. That's all I can say.
I'm sorry, folks. I'm sorry to start off on a low note like that.
Well, just to hopefully raise the bar a little bit, and is also Texas Chainsaw Massacre related. I believe you've just signed up to the technical test for the upcoming game, haven't you?
I did. I'm very excited.
As I did myself.
Hey, look at that. Let's have a. But now, the studio did put out a tweet saying the technical test sign up was broken. So I'm hoping it did work because it did say you have registered and you'll receive an yes, you've requested access. Keep an eye out for email notification. So yeah, folks, do go onto Steam, check it out. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre game. It looks fun. It looks like it has the heart of the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre film.
I think so. I mean, if you like Dead by Daylight and
yes,
the Friday the 13th game, the Evil Dead game, those what they call them asymmetrical survival games. I don't know exactly. Yeah,
I've never known what that genre is called.
It's definitely asymmetrical something. Asymmetrical horror survival.
Yeah, possibly
or something along those lines. Yeah, they are. They're generally pretty good. I can't say I've played much Dead by Daylight, but I can't deny its popularity. I'd love the Friday the 13th game.
Yeah, I think these ones appeal to me more because of the IP rather than Dead by Daylight. Sure. I believe they got some actual IP killers.
Yeah, they've got a whole bunch of licensed killers and characters in there. But Nicolas Cage is going to be the latest addition.
He is. I saw that.
To Dead by Daylight, actually, which is totally worth a mention because it's mental.
Absolute madman. But he should be Castor Troy. Takes people's faces.
But yeah, they've had a bunch of licensed content, but to actually have a proper, fully licensed set in world Texas Chainsaw game is going to be cool, I think.
Yeah. So the technical test is the 25th of May. So by the time you are listening to this, if you're listening to this podcast on release, it will be a couple days away. So do go check it out. Try and get a technical test sign up. It's free. There's no end.
I think it's
all weekend, I believe. No, sorry, I think it's all weekend.
It does. Yeah, I was just going to say it starts on the 25th and it runs through to the end of that weekend, the 31st. Oh no, sorry, the 28th. Hopefully I'll get a chance to play it.
If we're both around next weekend, let's get a couple of games in if we can.
Yeah, we'll try. Should be.
And if we do get content, we'll do best to get content. It will be up on the YouTube channel. Dreadcast YouTube channel, so you can check it out. There's no NDAs on this, folks, so do go stream it, record it, get all the content you can for all us horror fans. And then the game comes out just after my birthday, so good birthday, that is.
Nice.
Yeah, do you know what I really love about this game? The poster is fantastic. The artwork poster. You seen it?
I'm not sure I have. Or I must have. Let me.
It feels like it could be a cover for, say, a re-release of the film. You know, a collector's edition of the film. It's a really nice piece of art. I've seen it. Yeah. And what I like, if I'm right in saying, I can't. I don't know. The word game isn't too prominent. So if you quickly glimpsed it, it looks like a movie poster, which I think is really cool. What would be really good is if this is Steam Deck supported, means I can play it in bed. We'll see.
There's another good poster there. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, a game based on true events.
Yes, keeping that moniker alive. But we know it's not as good as the new sequel. So, I mean, we can only hope.
Of course not.
It's ridiculous. And the last point I just wanted to mention is about today's episode. Is this little fella right here? I managed to hunt this out in my own VHS copy of Wishmaster.
Excellent. So is that a new addition to the collection, or is this something that you had?
Had this all the time.
Had it all along.
It's a Cinema Club release, so I think it's a re-release.
Yeah, I think they are.
2001. 2001 this is. So around the era of transitioning from video to DVD. So it's a good copy though. What I really want to say about it is that poster, that artwork on the front, is what I remember from the days of Blockbuster. I always, whenever I think of Blockbuster, I think of this video here. Because as a young Tom Jr., I was always obsessed with going to the horror section because it was kind of like the taboo sections. Like, oh, you're too young for that, you can't watch it. And like, I want to go see look at this gross monster, look at these zombies. And this was always there. And you don't forget that cover. You just don't.
No. I always get a little bit creeped out walking through the horror section in Blockbuster and video stores and stuff, because video stores were, the one we used to use wasn't Blockbuster. It was, I think it was an independent store.
Yeah.
It was something like Top Hat Video or some strange name, I think. And it was always deathly quiet, like a library. Like there weren't any TVs playing, trailers or anything.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, it was just always a bit eerie walking down the aisles of the horror things. I think because you've got the covers and the monsters like sort of eyes looking at you, always like weirded me out a little bit. Oh god, I miss video shops though. They were so good.
I do, man. Like, there's something about. I mean, we're physical media people. Yeah. I'm a physical media person, as you can see, video viewers. There's something about just holding it. Like,
there's definitely something about owning stuff. But I think if a rental place, like I guess DVD rentals, whatever, if a rental place opened up locally tomorrow, I'd definitely sign up to it. Sitting and scrolling through Netflix or whatever, looking for something to watch is just not the same.
It's really not, but it would have to have a good library to warrant.
Oh, sure.
You know, to warrant the signing up. But yeah, they were. It's such a generational thing. You try and I don't know. I don't really conversate with a younger generation that much, shall we say? So I don't really know what their thoughts would have been when someone would say to them, "Oh, we used to have to go to a store if you wanted a film and basically borrow it." You know, borrow is the other word than rent. Borrow this and then if you returned it late, you had to pay a fee. You know, you don't rent
and
the
you
film
have to rewind it.
Speaking of which,
oh, you bad
not rewound. Not rewound. Unbelievable.
That's an extra 50p. Fine, right there.
There's you've got the blurb on the back, right? And then below it, which is actually my first note, it says also starring Tony Todd, the Candyman, Kane Hodder, Friday the 13th Jason, and Robert Englund, aka Freddy Krueger. But other than Robert Englund, they're in
Starring
very
is very
loose.
Doing a lot of heavy lifting there, isn't it?
Yeah. And
I mean, Tony Todd and Kane Hodder have cameos, and arguably Robert Englund, it's an extended cameo.
Yes.
I mean, I think it's great, and it's definitely a buzz. I was watching it with my girlfriend and kept saying, "That's Candyman. There's Freddy. This is Jason."
Yeah, same.
Shouting out as they were appearing. That's the general from Dawn of the Dead.
Yes, Joe Pilato. He was Rhodes. But yeah, they out of Kane Hodder and Tony Todd, I think the more notable name would be Tony Todd.
Yeah, I mean,
because Kane Hodder is a stuntman and a guy in the mask. Kane Hodder had more prominent roles. Very loose minor roles. I'm going to use the blurb on the back of this for anyone that's not seen Wishmaster. Today we're doing Wishmaster, 1997 Wes Craven. What do they call it? Fun romp down memory lane. I had to stop myself. Okay. This film is of the 90s, okay? The first sentence alone of this, you would not get on the back of a Blu-ray or DVD.
Does it? Right, okay.
When our pretty young heroine...
Oh, there we go. We're cancelled immediately.
Hey, she was pretty. She's pretty.
I mean, yeah, and pretty and young.
Credit where's credit due.
But
when our pretty young heroine, Alexandra Amberson, Tammy Lauren, stumbles across a gem that imprisons the most malicious of genies, you know all hell will break loose. The Djinn, Andrew Divoff, is not your average genie, and once awakened from his 1,000-year slumber, he wreaks evil and destruction across LA. Alexandra soon discovers that she alone can empower the Djinn to infest the earth with his vile race, and she alone can save the world. Pretty straightforward, right?
Yeah,
unleashes an
pretty
evil.
Straightforward. I mean, the first couple of lines of that sound like they could be. It could be a sitcom.
Yeah. Yeah.
When Alexandra finds a gem, she better watch out.
On this week's episode of Wishmaster. I'm glad you chose this. I'm really glad you chose this.
It was a lot of fun watching this again. It was.
I'm really glad.
Really, really good. Shall we get into it then? Let's go. Let's go. So first off, this has a brilliant opening prologue.
Oh,
it's great.
Brilliant.
Lots of gore, lots of blood. There's a skeleton.
There's a snake man.
There's a snake man. There's all kinds of things popping off in medieval Persia. I forget just what the date it is that it gives. It's like,
I think it's about 1100.
Yeah, 12th
I think it was
century,
something like that. Yeah.
So yeah, we get the prologue of the Djinn has been, well, he's worm-tongued his way into the king's ear, and the king has been casting he's been wishing.
Yeah.
And yeah, the Djinn has been essentially, we told, aren't we, via is it a text card or the voiceover?
Yeah.
The narrator basically tells us if he casts if he grants 3 wishes to the person who awakes him, then he can unleash. He becomes all powerful, and the idea is that he'll unleash the rest of the Djinn race upon the world and seek to rule it effectively.
His wishes are never legit.
No, it's
There's
very much the be careful what you
paw.
wish for, the ironic twist, punishment. And we get some good deaths throughout the movie because of on that.
The thing
subject.
with ancient Persia, I didn't know ancient Persia was very white and English. Their casting choices with that scene, yeah.
I think I like how everything's got a red tinge to it.
Yeah.
Like for no real reason.
And
just everything's dark and orange.
You can so tell that was a set. It's just a little room they whipped up quickly. And I noticed that a lot later on with these sort of sets to save on money. That, say for instance, later on, I'm not skipping forward that much, but when they're in the mansion, they're in a big room where there's windows, but the windows are frosted because it's a set.
Yeah.
So if it was a real, they were in a real mansion in the room, the windows would be clear, you could see through them. But no, they've got to frost it because they're in a studio. It's the same with this. There's no windows in this Persian set or wherever they are. There's no holes
inside this castle.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, there's loads of stuff. I mean, there's the scene later on as well when they're in the gem and everything's just like
I
flashing
love that.
red lights behind sheets.
I love it. Turn the smoke machine on.
It looks like, yeah. I couldn't decide whether it was like a music video or like an episode of Power Rangers or something like that.
Yeah. I mean, we get introduced to the brilliant effects by Greg Nicotero. I was really cool really cool to see that he did the effects on this because he's up there with the Rick Bakers and Tom Savini's and Dick Smiths. But like 2 to 5 minutes in, we're shown some amazing effects work.
Yeah. Well, it was Greg Nicotero. I think it was a partnership, wasn't it, Robert? Because Robert Kurtzman was involved in this as well, and also directed it. He's been involved for all sorts of stuff. Dr. Sleep. Pretty sure he did some Nightmare on Elm Street stuff. Just having a look back through his Tusk. He was the supervisor on Tusk.
Oh, really?
Did some Texas Chainsaw Massacre stuff. Hostel. Yeah. So there was I think there was a third name as well, and I'm kicking myself because I can't remember it.
There was. You're right.
There was a good trio of excellent special effects artists that have gone on to do some fantastic work on, well, I mean, Walking Dead being the obvious one as far as Greg's concerned.
Yeah.
Some outstanding work. In fact, we do get... there was a scene where Alexandra, she imagines her friend, the guy that she's kind of got the on-off relationship with. He sort of appears to her as a corpse, as a zombie, in a sort of American Werewolf in London kind of bit, where it's just like he says something to her, she turns and he's there, and but the zombie effect makeup is definitely like what you see in The Walking Dead.
That was
100% his work.
She was imagined because earlier on, Alexandra and this best friend, he's very much, I don't take no for an answer. It's a bit creepy. It's a bit 90s. But
he's trying to climb out of that friend zone.
He's reaching. He is reaching to try and get out of there. But they're showing playing tennis, and this vision, which you mentioned, is she's on the tennis court, and that's where the quick jump scare comes of him. Yeah, I remember now. The effects, opening scene, it's a good hook, to get you in. Like, all right, this is what we're about.
Nice and gory. There's people being ripped open and legs coming off, and there's all sorts of good things happening. Yeah, the Snake Man. Well, I kind of wonder, like, what he wished for that to happen.
Yeah. Well, who did the wishing?
Yeah. Well.
For all this to happen, is it the king?
I think it's the king. Yeah, I think it's because we get a mirror scene later on, don't we, with Robert Englund's character holding the party, and I think it's he wishes for his party to go down in. Oh, the Djinn says, I was asked to make sure a party went down in history and was never forgotten or something. And I think when he says that to Robert Englund, it's the prologue that he's referring to. So the king has wished for, his legacy to be a memorable one, and that's translated as will turn somebody into a snake and rip everybody up, and
Snake Man.
somebody's skeleton will rip out of their body and terrorize somebody else.
Lisa, a skeleton.
Oh, I love I'm all skeleton. I love a walking skeleton.
Okay, well, I laugh about skeleton. I was thinking Brenda from Scary Movie, like, Sydney, it's a skeleton. What is scary about a skeleton?
I mean, they're not scary, granted, but just from a Ray Harryhausen fan, Jason and the Argonauts, and I said Clash of the Titans. Jason and the Argonauts, like that skeleton scene.
They're fantastic. Yeah, I mean, or Army of Darkness skeletons.
Yeah,
fantastic. Like they can be done really well, a bit comically as well.
Classic fantasy villains, but yeah, just so they're level 1 enemy. To be honest,
yeah,
they're not terribly scary. But yeah, it's a great opening scene. Absolutely loved it.
The thing with the opening scene, obviously, we assume it's the king that's made the wishes. The guy that the camera is focusing on, he has the gem, right? He has the stone, and then he goes to the king and then casts some sort of spell in I assume Persian language or whatever language, which then seals the Djinn back into the stone, and that's where the stone then gets lost throughout time, and we discover it in one day. That's kind of a bit big left up to your interpretation of what's happening. Really, that whole scene. Like, who is this guy? Why does he have the stone? Like, is he like an assistant? Is he like a lower level to the?
I think he's the court wizard. I think he's the court wizard that he's supposed to be. So he comes in at the moment and the Djinn is just there, isn't he? Hooded up and next to
you see him in the first 5 minutes. You see him standing there. He's so cool.
He is a great looking villain, and I love his voice as well. The way particularly the way he says wishes.
What wishes do you desire today, my lord?
His excellent voice. But yeah, he's the court wizard, so he basically says, like, stop, like, don't make any more wishes because it'll be the end of us all. And then he traps him. So he's it does kind of suggest that everything's kind of happened at once, though. Like the Djinn's like rocked up and bam, 2 wishes are done, and he's like racing through to stop it. Whereas obviously for the length of the film, we have this much longer build up to things going on. But that's something that maybe I missed. But we're told that the Djinn needs to grant 3 wishes to the person that wakes him up, and then he can take his power. Yeah, he's granting wishes willy-nilly throughout that movie to all and sundry. Everybody he comes across, he's like, oh, you get a wish. He's like Oprah Winfrey. You get a wish. You get a wish. You get a wish.
Yeah, they're never actually normally worded as wishes, though. He's normally manipulating their words to say, oh, is that what you want? That's all he has to say, really. And then if they just say a simple yes, then he classes that as a wish.
Yeah. But then and then we find out that he's like collected those souls, and that then gives him the power. So it's slightly, and technically the person that wakes him up out of the gem is killed straight away and not given the 3 wishes. And it just seemed a little bit of it kind of forgot its own rules fairly quickly and went with something else.
Yeah, I noted that down, especially like I was trying to think, okay, we got the idea that there's 3 wishes. It's the old genie classic trope, 3 wishes, and then whatever happens after he gets his full powers. But yeah, he was still able to sort of cast powers, manipulate people, whereas these wishes were meant to be the thing that then let him be able to cast magic and powers. It kind of went back and forth a bit.
Yeah, it was a little bit unclear, and I wasn't entirely sure how Indra is the one that ultimately is doing the big 3 sort of. Whereas
a bit of Hellraiser vibes with the whole trying to build Frank. Frank's the one that his body, like, she's bringing bodies back for him to sort of get more and stronger and be more human. It's kind of like, I kind of was expecting that with this vibe, like the Djinn right at the beginning in the modern day where he's resurrected, quote unquote, from the stone. Little Vern Troyer comes out.
It is Vern Troyer.
Yeah. He's like a mini. He's not like a baby Djinn. He's sort of a weak, pathetic little creature.
Yeah,
Now, I got the impression.
like Voldemort.
Yes, I was getting the impression that, like, does he need these wishes to be granted so that he can collect their souls, which makes him then stronger?
It's something like that. Like I say, or it's a little bit. They establish like some very clear rules and then very quickly deviate into something else. But yeah, essentially, it's similar to what happens with Arnold Vosloo in The Mummy, isn't it? In Brendan Fraser's Mummy, he's released, but he's weak and needs to, like, off a few NPCs in order to get back to some sort of reasonable level of strength. So yeah, the first wish he grants is, I can't remember the name of the guy.
Well, it's when he is Vern Troyer plays him when he's a baby Djinn, shall we say, and it's when he is resurrected from this stone that gets discovered in one day. It's done in like I guess a carbon dating analyzing machine.
Yeah, I think the jewel is the jewel is going through a spectral.
Yeah, and
analyzer.
the guy, it's Alexandra's our main lead's best friend, the guy in the friend zone, and the machine explodes. The Djinn escapes, and it's him that he grants the first wish. It's to end his suffering. He doesn't want to be in pain anymore, which obviously knocks him out.
It's killing him.
Yeah,
but I think by its own rules, he should be the person that needs to ask to make the 3 wishes to unleash everything.
Yeah,
he's the one that's getting him, that wakes him from the gem.
Yeah, like he rubbed the lamp.
Yeah,
and he came out, and he only grants that. These are all very loosely granted wishes. Like I said, it's very word manipulation. He grants his wish of no more suffering, no more pain, and then suddenly it's only there the Djinn gains so much strength and size and mass and becomes his normal size. Over 6 foot, pretty big built entity from that one wish, and then throughout the film it doesn't really do it. Nothing really affects him anymore. So he grants a wish to the homeless guy. He doesn't then suddenly go, Hulk up. It's just.
And to take on a human appearance, he physically goes and gets somebody's face and cuts it off and puts it on.
Yeah. Just quickly on that
magical manipulation, but
quickly on that. You remember when I showed you the thumbnail I made for this episode?
Yes.
No, I haven't seen this film for probably 20 years.
Yeah, same.
Our main actor that he steals the face from, is that the same actor? Is that Divoff who plays Wishmaster? Or is it a different character? Does he play Wishmaster in all the makeup?
Yes, I believe so. Yeah.
Okay, so I was waiting for this character to pop up in the film, and it's a good halfway through the film, I feel like, before he pops up. And when you type in Wishmaster, when I was looking for the images for this thumbnail, I'm like, where is this guy in this film? He doesn't pop up for a long time.
Do we actually see him as a human?
No, he's dead, and
he's literally just the corpse that he takes. He's in the medical
school of medicine.
School of medicine.
Yeah, he's just a cadaver. He's basically just a cadaver that the Djinn goes to rip the face off. Puts it on himself so he can appear human. Nice
face peeling. So he chose that. He, of all the faces on offer to him. Not that there's anything wrong with.
No.
Not that there's anything wrong with Andrew Divoff at all. He's a fine looking gentleman.
He's an evil looking gentleman.
But he could have said, and because it doesn't matter to the Djinn what he looks like to anybody else. I guess he could have taken anybody's face.
One little note I did just have just before we go on, because I feel like there's quite a bit to get into with this film, which is good.
Yeah.
In the monologue at the beginning, the opening text crawl, it stated, "In the time before time." I'm like, hang on, what does that mean? What's the time? I don't really understand what that means.
I mean, it's 11th,
it sounds good.
12th century Persia's not the time before time, but
It's quite a lot of time before that.
In the land before time. It's just, I don't know.
Littlefoot.
It's just there's some genies, I think it's just trying to say, isn't it? Like before creation there was some genies.
Yeah, so they're stating the Djinn are somewhat of a race that just existed back then, maybe.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, they are creatures of Persian, Middle Eastern folklore. The Djinn is it's, you know, as we might think of genies more today as being, you know, relatively friendly. You know, I Dream of Genie, Robin Williams,
and that gets elaborated on later on in the film.
Painted Blue, it does get referenced, yeah. But yeah, sort of in the original folklore, they are like most things. I think that we've sort of softened.
Yeah,
they are like malevolent, demonic entities. Really, I think that's the whole shtick about them, and they are powerful and magical.
Yeah,
and yeah, but definitely sort of not on our side. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm willing to bet that there are some old folk tales that involve these sort of be careful what you wish for morals and jinns perverting wishes for their own end and stuff like that. I think that's kind of
it was similar to the whole monkey's paw.
Yeah.
Again, I'm thinking back to Simpsons, where they get the monkey's paw in Morocco and everything goes wrong. Yeah. He's got a nail in the board.
Well, it is that, and that is it's an old Twilight Zone episode, isn't it, as well? And
yes.
This is, the whole shtick of the Wishmaster. The plot is sort of in that. If you've seen any of those, you know what we're talking about. It's the whole be careful what you wish for. That is the point. I mean, we've glossed over a little bit how this gem actually comes into being.
Yes, the gem.
Because it's also the moment where we get introduced to Robert Englund's character on the quayside. So fast forward from 11th century Persia, we're in 90s LA. Is it set in LA?
Do you know what? It doesn't even state LA. It just says America. I mean, you can see it's LA from one of the panning shots of the skyline. You can see your city skylines, like a nerdy self I am. I knew it was LA. Even if you spot a palm tree, it's LA, pretty much.
It's LA. So yeah, we cut to the dockside in 90s LA, and Robert Englund is playing a character. He plays a character called Raymond Beaumont, who's an art dealer essentially, or a historical artifact dealer.
Yeah.
And he's having a new piece delivered, and thanks to a bumbling drunk on the job
Joe Pilato.
Honestly, people like this is why we have like
rules,
testing at work and rules,
health
and safety. Because of negligent people like this, who's drinking his whiskey out of his little styrofoam cup and drops a crate onto Ted Raimi.
Ted Raimi, yes, it was. That's such a Ted Raimi role to have. Just fucking kill me in 5 minutes, whatever.
So he gets squashed, the statue breaks open, and one of the forklift drivers attending the accident pockets the gem that's embedded within with absolutely no remorse, no like concern for the fact that there's a man squashed to death under that rubble. He just sees a jewel and whips it away into his pocket.
He whips it out. He rips it out of the nice painted polystyrene effect rubble, because from what I do for a living, this is now one of the things that's desensitized me a lot with effects in films. I know how a lot of things are made, and it's really annoying. That statue that broke, oh wow, it's just dense polystyrene. I mean, most of them are, but paint it a bit better. Come on. The jewel itself.
What was the budget for this? Because, as we've already mentioned, I think we're not looking at. Well, it doesn't feel like we're looking at blockbuster territory.
I'm gonna say 10 million. I haven't looked yet.
Let's have a quick squiz. But yeah, it does. That was one of the things I was going to say. Is it does get into things pretty quickly. We see the Djinn and some body horror stuff in the prologue, but even after he's been sort of trapped, it whips along at a fair old rate. So we get the statue being dropped, it breaks, the guy pockets the gem. The next scene is literally the pawn shop owner taking the gem to be appraised at an auction house. And then the next scene is we're going to stick this gem in this machine to try and analyze it, and boom, Djinn pops out. It whips along really, really quickly.
It's good pacing, very good pacing for sure. And at the same time, it doesn't really neglect introducing the audience to your characters. Like, this is this person, this is this person, this is what we're doing with the story. Go. Like, you get to know Alexander, you get the quick reference of, here's your best friend trying to be in the friend zone. Here's Alexander's boss, who's the sleazy auction house guy. We don't linger too. He's very sleazy.
He's the epitome of. He's like dripping gold jewelry. His hair's slicked back. He's. He calls people like babe and doll. He's awful. Well, he's also a terrible actor.
He's awful. Alex's younger sister also works there, Shannon. Yeah. So they all work in this auction house together. By the way, the budget was 5 million, so I was half right.
Okay, yeah.
The gem itself, the red. I mean, what is it? It's specifically, does it say what kind of rock it is? Fire opal. Here we go.
Opal, fire opal. Yeah.
If I Google fire opal now, I want to see what they look like raw. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Raw, they look beautiful, but. Yeah, okay, they can be cut and shaped to like, because it just, to me, it looked too comically perfectly round and clean and.
Yeah, well, I mean, it had been cut.
So obviously, the statue had been a rock that had been found, and then the artist at the time had carved their statue into this rock, and the opal was just conveniently inside there.
Well, no, it can't be. It can't be, because they trapped the Djinn in that jewel, and then it's got to have got into that statue somehow.
Well, I mean, 1,000 years, it could have been lost. It could have been lost outside somewhere. Yeah. How does it get stuck inside?
I think we're supposed to believe that the statue was made around the stone somehow.
That's a good one. That's logical.
I mean,
well done.
I don't know how, but because I suppose because it's fully embedded in there as well. Yeah. It's not like there's a stone that can be removed and it's placed in a void. It's fully almost like it's cast in concrete around.
It's like this. So if this was the rock, there's the for the audio listeners. Yeah. I've got a closed fist and a battery. I'm tightly closing a used Energizer 9-volt battery in my fist, halfway out. And it's kind of like that, and it's just sticking out. So the rock is broken, obviously broken off one side, but the opal doesn't look dirty, chipped, or anything. It is pristinely beautiful. And the guy just sort of pops it out without any trouble. Now, you, Aidan, lovely co-host here, you've done a bit of work in the old archaeology world, right?
A little bit, yeah.
A little bit. You've dabbled a little bit, just a little hobby on the side. It's tough, right, to really get stuff delicately out of earth or rocks.
Yeah.
This guy,
just slips it out. I mean, but I'm more concerned with how that statue was. But I mean, the Romans had concrete, so
yeah,
arguably the Persians in 1100 or whatever it is had something similar. We're led to believe. But yeah, anyway, that stone is like fully wedged in this statue. And yeah, it's released and taken off to the old auction house. And there's just in that first 20 minutes, there's just a lot of 90s. It's very, very 90s, the way everybody's dressed, the music.
Let's talk about it. The way they talk
to each other. And I was just laughing my head off.
I love it. Okay, I love the 90s. The 90s to me was 5 years ago. It's like how the 80s were 20 years ago, not 40 years ago. I love the 90s. So I wrote down like, this is, if you toned this film down a bit, this could easily have been an episode of Buffy or Charmed.
Well, I was going to say it has that sort of sheen to it, like it's a TV movie or an episode of Buffy the Vampire. It would work well as an episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, I think, or
it really
or
would.
Something of it. But it's got that kind of I don't know what it is. I don't know whether it's a particular type of film or like a filter or something, but it has that sort of TV quality to it rather than big screen. I mean, this was a cinema release, wasn't it? It was it was a cinema film, but it looks. But I mean, this is the same year Scream 2 came out. Was it Scream 2? I think Scream 2.
Yeah, 97.
And it doesn't look anything like the same in terms of the cinematography, I guess you'd call it. I don't know exactly what it is.
I know exactly what you're saying. That there is just something about it, either to do with the frame rate or the film that they used.
It's almost soft focus in some ways.
Soft. And it feels like you could split it up into, I mean, it's 90 minutes long. It feels like you could split it up into a 3-part episode. Everything about the camera work, like, wow, I noted this down, and this is something normally I'm quite proud I picked up on this, that they got a lot of use out of their camera dolly, panning from left to right slowly, then back to. They got a lot of use out of that, and to me, that's the kind of shot they would normally do with, say, a 90s TV drama, where you've got two characters, the dolly is panning dramatically on the person on the left, then it pans to the person they're having a
like
dramatic
General
discussion.
Hospital or ER or something like that.
Yeah.
That sort of a particularly American soap opera vibe to it, I think.
There are a lot of flashes. There are a lot of there weren't many sort of actiony shots, were there? There were a lot of it's quite still.
Yeah.
There's not very many mobile action shots. It's beautifully 90s. It really is. Especially the sound design. The music is the music reminded me of again 90s Mortal Kombat Conquest. It was the TV series. I love Conquest with a K. I loved it.
Definitely. I mean, Motorhead's on the soundtrack for this. I did.
Motorhead's the end credits.
And there was something Eating Crow, Southpaw, 30 amp fuse, Cellophane. they're all bands that are on this soundtrack, which accounts apart from Motorhead, and maybe Southpaw rings a bell.
But folks, if you don't know Mortal Kombat Conquest, 1998, one season, go check it out. It was fabulous. It was great. You knew in that show where it cut from the actors playing their characters to the stuntman doing their fighting. You knew. But that time period.
Power Rangers is another one. It looks like Power Rangers. The non-Japanese footage segments, obviously, the bits that they filmed to make a cohesive plot out of it. It was brilliant. So Vern Troyer, the Djinn, comes out.
Vern Troyer.
He kills the guy, ends his suffering, and then hops off to a 7-Eleven and meets up with a homeless guy.
I think it was a pharmacy.
Pharmacy, that's right. It is.
Yeah,
pharmacy.
Because the homeless guy is begging for money outside of it, and the pharmacist that basically tells him to fuck off. They basically do that gif of the two people on the street fighting, but they're just like shoving their middle finger up at each other so you can get the biggest middle finger.
I loved the homeless guy. He was great. And I feel like I've seen him. Yeah. I did look him up. I can't remember his name. I did feel like I've seen him before, and tends to be playing a homeless person. I feel like that is his little niche that he cut out.
Have you seen the credits for this film? Like Skeleton Man, Snake Man.
Yeah. Yeah, well, Vern Troyer is credited as Creature Stage 1.
But then there's only Stage 2.
Well, somebody called Walter Phelan is Creature Stage 2. So maybe it's not Divoff in the... But then Divoff is credited as being the Djinn stroke Nathaniel Demarest.
Yeah.
Which is a fantastic name to come up with on the spot.
That's incredible.
I did actually, generally speaking, I did love how well the Djinn adjusted to being in, 900 years in the future or whatever.
Yeah.
Because there are no, which I guess would have given the film a different tone. But there are no scenes of him like trying to understand the modern world. He's just fully into it straight away. He's asking to borrow people's cell phones. He knows what stuff is, and there's none of that sort of, "Oh, what's this strange object?" kind of thing.
Yeah, I hadn't actually thought about that. That's a really good point.
I guess it's because it would have changed. It's not. They're not making Encino Man again. They would have been a. Bless you.
Thank you.
It would have been a silly thing to do.
It's also not the sort of, I guess, entity that cares about that. That's modern or different types of eras in the world and generation, like advances in technology. It doesn't care. Back to this homeless guy, right? So he's played by George Buckflower.
Buckflower.
And in Back to the Future 1 in 1985, he played Red the Bum.
Red the Bum.
In They Live, he played the Drifter.
I think it might be They Live, I reckon, from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got the
Bartenders and bums seems to be, or truckers seems to be his, he was a homeless man in something called Mom, Can I Keep Her?
Oh, that's, isn't that about Bigfoot?
I think it is.
Yeah.
Or a gorilla, at least.
The scene in general, outside with the pharmacy, where we see the Djinn, he wants to grant the homeless guy's wish because the homeless guy basically wants the pharmacist to die of cancer. Mm-hmm. How do you act suddenly getting cancer?
Yeah.
I mean, how? Right, ready? You ready? Right, ready? We're gonna act. We're gonna cut. We're gonna roll soon. Remember what you're doing. Your character's about to get cancer and you're about to die. And action.
Stage 4 cancer in 3, 2, 1. Yeah, I don't know. But they went very extra, didn't they? Because he starts getting sort of weird buboes and lumps and bumps all over him. Which I mean, I'm no medicine man, but I'm pretty sure that's not a symptom of cancer. But I guess they've got to lean into the horror somehow. I'm still distracted by Buckflower's IMDb page.
you go for it. You go for it.
He has played a lot of vagrants and tramps. And
hey, if it works, if it gets you jobs, why change?
Oh, he's in Escape from New York.
Who is he?
Well, he's just credited as drunk.
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
But you know the scene in the basement where that guy is just being punched.
Yes.
And Snake Plissken goes into the basement, and that guy, there's just a guy he's just against the sink, just being punched in the face.
Yeah.
And Snake grabs the guy and pulls him off, and the guy being punched is just laughing his head off.
He's laughing at it. Yeah.
I think that's Buck.
He's
my new favorite actor.
They probably didn't even plan to shoot that. He was probably just, Buck's getting beaten up. Let's get a camera on him.
They were filming something else. They film it from a couple of different angles. Shoehorn him in as a vagrant in any project they happen to have at the time.
That's not Snake getting him off. That's Kurt Russell trying to help. And Buck's like, "Hey, what's up? What's going on?"
Oh, I love it. I love it. Right, I'm going to read up more about Mr. George Buckflower at a later date.
Talk about the Djinn. I want to talk about the Djinn itself.
Let's talk about the Djinn.
I thought about this throughout the film, that I love the whole idea of him. It's not a slasher. It's not a serial killer. It's not a zombie. It's not paranormal. It's 97. It's 26 years ago. Still feels fresh. It feels fresh. It's like a new subgenre of horror.
It's
in a way.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I know what you're saying. I don't know. What would you call it? Fantasy horror?
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know every single horror film ever released, but to me, this feels like one of the first big hitters with this as its plot device. A evil genie entity who looks awesome. The look of him is fantastic. I would love a figure.
I think it's well, the reason for it, and no shade on Wishmaster because I do like it.
Go on.
But I think the reason for it is because as a subgenre, we do have things with like cryptids in. There's plenty of like Sasquatch horror films out there.
Yeah.
Has there been one on the Loch Ness Monster, Mothman, genies? Every so often, so there's been a few with fairies.
Yeah.
And I mean troll, goblins. Yeah. So and I don't think there's been any big standout successes.
No.
In using folklore, real creatures from folklore. I think it's mythological creatures from folklore. They do occasionally pop up, and people make, and it's good fodder for horror movies, I think, or movies generally. But I don't think we've ever had any really good ones. So as a subgenre, I think it's still.
I think it's up there.
It's definitely territory that should be explored more.
Fully.
Definitely.
It's hard territory though to especially get to write about well, because I'm constantly thinking, if this character, the Djinn, really manipulates people's wishes or wants in the world, how does our main character get around that? How do they word it? It's all about the wording.
Yeah.
And how she words her final wish at the end and tricks him. It's very clever, and you've got to really write it well for it to make sense. And I think they did that, which we'll get to. But
I think, I think
it's a tricky one because, like when she mentions, "I wish you'd kill yourself," but he's not. He's an immortal entity.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really work when he blows his brains out. He's like, "Damn, that fucking hurt."
That is if it's any consolation. That really hurts.
Yeah. So the writing's really got to be good for this sort of film to work, and I think it worked really well for this film. But the Djinn, as a plot device, as a character, I think it's great. I think they nailed the look. It really gave me Jeepers Creepers vibes.
Yeah, I'd always wondered if, because Jeepers Creepers was definitely later than this, wasn't it? I always wondered later.
Yeah, but not long. I think 99.
Oh, not long. Right, okay.
2001, but still 4 years. Okay. Not long.
Yeah, that's not huge. But I always felt like they possibly took some strong inspiration from the Djinn.
Doubt. I mean, look at this. I've just sent you that.
We'll get them up side by side.
Have a look at that.
Yeah, 100%. In fact, who plays the Creeper? Is it a product of having the same person under the mask? Because
Jeepers Creepers. Here we go.
They're very close.
Jeepers Creepers. The Creeper, Jonathan Breck. Oh wow, this guy does look like he plays. This guy looks like he could play the Wishmaster.
Because I always felt as well, actually, that both the Djinn and the Creeper. Oh yeah.
You see what I mean?
A little look of Freddy Krueger as well. And I think when I first saw this, it didn't help that Robert Englund's in it as well. But I felt like it was him that was playing both the Djinn and well, a totally unrelated character. But yeah, I always felt like they've got a kind of look about it. I don't know what it is. Something around the eyes and the grin, the smile.
I was trying to just picture when we saw more and more of the Djinn. Does he have wings that suddenly appear because of the creeper? You know.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, technically, there are 3 sequels to Wishmaster, I believe. I've definitely seen 2, maybe 3, but I can't definitely say I've seen them all.
Oh, dude, I want to do the rest. I want to watch the rest of them now.
I quite happily will. In fact, we know there's a box set out there that might get big.
Yeah.
Might be getting added to the collection. But I feel like they could add something like that without any real repercussions, because he's a magical creature. He's a magical entity, you know what I mean? Like, sure, give him wings, why not? He's got weird head tentacle things. I don't know what they're about, but he's got them.
He's got neck tails they're like cat tails that just sort of just do a little
wiggle about. They'll wiggle under the little mask when he puts the face on. There's he could have a tail. You can give him anything because we don't know.
As a look as a whole, he I think it's fantastic. I think it's a shame it's a not more notable horror icon look. It is quite, he's a bit green, he's a bit orcish maybe. It may be quite, it's a bit creeperish, it's a bit Spawn-esque. It's what I've just shown you. It's a McFarlane design, because I just found you can get a Wishmaster figure and I want it.
Okay.
it's not as standing out as a hockey mask, as a ghost face, as a pinhead. But it's a shame. I feel like it would be a great addition to say the lineup of horror icons.
I think so. I think what we're asking for really is a reboot.
Yeah, but it has to look like this.
Yeah, okay.
And they have to act like they're in the 90s. Basically, do a sequel.
I just want some more Wishmaster movies.
Do the exact same film, shot for shot. Just shot for shot, same camera angles, same sound design, HD, newer actors. Just give me that. New effects. There we go.
Okay. To be honest, I could listen to him talk all day because I did absolutely love the voice.
Yeah,
it was amazing.
So could I do a podcast on the Wishmaster.
What do you desire?
Yes.
Tell me your heart's deepest desires.
Oh, hang on. Look at this one. Look at this. It's a bust, original bust of his head. Oh, that's beautiful.
Oh, that is good. Oh, very nice.
So he's...
Sorry, audio listeners.
I'll put... yeah. Just...
Follow the Twitter. We'll put it on the Instagram. And they'll be on.
We will, actually. Yeah, we will. The bust we're looking at, it's a clear view of the Wishmaster's head and shoulders, but you can really see, like, he is bald. His 2 tentacles, they start from the top of his forehead, loop round the back, and then rest on his neck.
They're like soft horns.
Yeah, it's a unique design. I've not seen
design.
That. Soft horns.
It's soft horns. If horns were flexible, it can just sort of sweep them back.
He's got soft horns.
He's got soft. Look out! He's got soft horns. It looks a lot. I tell you, also the creature design, the character design reminds me of Kane from the Legacy of Kane video games.
Love Soul
which
Reaver.
I was probably playing around the time that the film came out. But yeah,
we don't have. See, look at what we've just discussed, right? Wishmaster, Legacy of Kane, Creeper, and I briefly slipped in Spawn, right? We don't have any of these anymore. These creatures, these creative creature designs.
I want some more monsters.
Yeah.
Some more monsters.
Yeah, we need some more monsters.
We do. I mean, we do, because a good creature feature. A good creature feature that's not a shark or a shark in a tornado or a shark that's actually a ghost or a shark that has legs of a dinosaur or just.
We don't need two animals merged together that become a robot or whatever. It doesn't need to be done by Asylum. We just need some creativity. Yeah,
give us a new creature feature, a la the Wishmaster or the Creeper. I mean, Jeepers Creepers, which is we've got to do. I think we'll have to do that.
I think so.
Because that's very unique.
Yeah,
that's a very unique story creature. I don't think that's got any. Well, I guess we'll find out for the episode that we'll inevitably do. But I don't think that's got any sort of historical provenance. That is just the brainchild of somebody.
The other thing with the Djinn, because he is this just magical entity, it's not like a mutated human or whatever. It's just this thing. Mm-hmm. He speaks perfect English, but do you think that's just a case of wherever he is, he can communicate with whatever? Like if
probably, yeah. I think the mythology behind Djinn is that they are these sort of all-powerful creatures, like, you know, world-altering, universe-altering. Their magic is strong or whatever. Yeah. So yeah, I think they are just. But it's like a bit like a Babelfish kind of thing. Like you'll hear whatever you need to hear to understand, kind of thing. Yeah, possibly. He's just because I think there's also. Well, there's the scene where he sucks Alexandra into the crystal, and he's also in the crystal and outside the crystal at the same time. So I think there's an element that they like in our reality and outside of our reality as well. So they probably have that sort of can see forward in time and back in time sort of element to them as well. They're kind of all powerful, all knowing. All singing, dancing.
It's like how we mentioned earlier about how the rules are kind of loose. They're not very strict. I guess same with what you just said. It's a little bit loose with how he can bend reality and talk. And I guess you dig yourself into a hole, like force yourself into a corner if you make the rules too strict. Because one little fuck up and it really doesn't. It messes everything up. Whereas this, if you leave it a bit loose, it can be to the audience's interpretation. It can just be left to people's imagination.
Anytime you notice anything out of the ordinary, say a Djinn did it. That's what it is. That's good. And also remember, it's magic. Yeah, it's not magic.
Real.
It's magic. He's doing magic. Speaking of which, we should probably talk a little bit more about some of the deaths.
Yes.
Which are wonderfully ironic and in how they play out. I feel so sorry for that poor shop assistant.
I'm glad you were going to say her.
Girl. She's just a totally innocent person. She's obviously really nice. She's really helpful. And because everybody else is kind of an asshole. I mean, the bum.
Yeah.
There's obviously just had that. Admittedly, he's probably the victim in that exchange, but he's a little bit aggressive and what have you. The Kane Hodder's security guard is, a bit of an asshole. Similarly, Tony Todd's character.
The cop, that not poor so girl, much.
Who's that? Sorry.
So the cop in the station, not so much.
Oh no. Oh, that's a good scene though. That is a good scene.
It's a bit RoboCop-y, that scene.
It is a bit. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
But that poor girl. She's just being a nice, helpful. She's trying to get a little extra commission that day, and the Djinn. Would you like your beauty to be preserved forever?
And this is his first, shall we say, meeting or first bit of activity after stealing the face from the School of Medicine, where he becomes human, his human form. He wants to get some new threads.
His chosen human form. That's it. He's buying a suit, isn't he?
Yeah.
And he's all debonair and devilish.
Yeah.
And yeah, turns that poor girl into a mannequin.
Well, does he turn her or does he encase her in a mannequin?
Oh, well, that's
because
a question.
The eyes revolve.
Do they move?
The eyes move, yeah.
Ah.
I mean, neither way is great.
Neither's good. I guess being encased within is a little bit more macabre.
Yeah.
And probably a little bit more sort of fitting.
Yeah.
I never noticed the eyes move. That's a good spot. Yeah, I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, they sort of do the roll back so you can see the whites of her eyes, but I don't know. The mannequin is... This doesn't really mean anything, but the mannequin... She was a very slim woman. The mannequin itself, though, was a very slim mannequin, so it's... Either way,
I mean, that might just be what we get the hands on prop wise.
Yeah.
But I don't know, because I guess the thing is that like all the kills are quite violent or quite painful. So I think if the Djinn has, well, he does. If he's going to choose, am I turning this person into a statue or am I encasing a person in a statue? I think he's probably going to go for the latter.
I believe so.
Yeah.
But
speaking of statues, there are statues all over this movie.
Oh,
did you notice?
They
are everywhere.
There is a specific statue.
There is.
Did you? You definitely noticed it. And I did the Leonardo DiCaprio in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I know that. In Robert England's extravagant collection of exotic statues from past, shall we say, empires, centuries ago, he has a Pazuzu statue. I obviously Pazuzu from The Exorcist. I never really knew. Is Pazuzu a real life folklore mythological god or whatever, demon?
Pretty sure
it wasn't just made up. It wasn't just made up for it. So
Mesopotamian god of the wind.
He has it, right? So he has it. That was, I don't know. I don't know if that would be classed as an Easter egg or
definitely. I think it's definitely an Easter egg.
It was really fun to see it
for the same reason that we've got Robert Englund, Kane Hodder, Tony Todd, and all the other little horror movie references in there. Yeah. Or little cameos. Robert Kurtzman gets a cameo in the party scene at the end. He's the guy wrapped up in piano wire.
Oh, fantastic! Fantastic.
Yeah, the choice of the Pazuzu statue has got to be deliberate. Yeah. And I actually paused that scene to have a look at everything else that was in that shot because there was a smaller statue to the right of the Pazuzu, as well. To Pazuzu's right, the left as we saw it, and I thought for a second it was the little I forget the name, the little tribal doll that comes alive and kills people.
I'm gonna have a look now while we're talking because I've got it here.
What in the Trilogy of Terror?
Trilogy of Terror.
Yeah, I'll show you the image of it, and you must.
Here we go.
You'll know what I mean. The Zuni fetish doll from.
Right, there's Pazuzu. So yeah, there's a little figure to his left.
That chap.
Yeah, I'm looking.
It wasn't hit after the fact. I realised, but
it looks a bit taller. This one still got the wild hair, but Pazuzu, he's doing the right hand up.
But yeah, it's definitely Pazuzu, and that's got to be. I mean, he's a real god from ancient Mesopotamia, but I'm sure it's a deliberate choice, a little Easter egg there, because.
But I like that it wasn't hidden in the background. It's there. Yeah. It's there on show for you to look at. All these fun kills that you mentioned, like they're kind of just scattered around the story of the film, which is very straightforward in a way. Of the Wishmaster is trying to get to Alex, pretty
Yeah,
much.
yeah, yeah.
She's the one that
and
had discovered the stone.
That's it. I mean, apart from a friend at the beginning, there are no. It's not like he's picking off her friends and family. They're all sort of unrelated.
They're all in his way, in a way.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, quite literally in terms of Kane Hodder.
Kane Hodder's death. So
we've got to mention it. It's the only one that looks a little bit lame.
When was Terminator 2 out? I think it was 90. When Robert Patrick walks through when Robert Patrick walks through the bars in the asylum that Sarah Connor's in, it looks fantastic. Now, granted, the budget was higher. They had Stan Winston with the effects. But the effects here for Kane Hodder's security guard being... Was he trapped in the glass doors?
He's incorporated, turned into a stained glass version of himself. I mean, however you want to describe it.
Yeah.
He's made part of the door and then shattered.
Shattered.
Not just shattered. He literally walks through him, and we have like weird sort of bubble effect as he comes through, and then he shatters. Which I don't know why they didn't just turn him into glass and then literally smash. The window would have been a better shot, I think. But
the shattering itself, it felt like a transition. It felt like a transitional shot, like a star wipe. Like, very, very random. This film came out the same year as Cube, one of my favorite horror films.
Oh, I love Cube.
And the effects in that were a bit questionable at times. And it felt like an effect from Cube. I don't know why. It just, of the mid to late 90s, low budget effects.
Low budget CGI.
Yeah.
It does stick out. It does stick out. And it definitely sticks out by our standards today.
Of course.
You know, it definitely dates it a lot. Yeah, I think there are better ways you could have done that.
The bit before...
Well, I'll just say with a physical breaking of the door would have worked better than this CGI smashing, I think.
If I could get a matte painter to paint Kane Hodder on this window, just to paint a portrait of Kane Hodder, and then just, I don't know, have an impact on the glass so it just shatters and then his body just falls to the floor. Anything, it was pretty bad. But the best bit of that scene is when the Djinn is trying to again manipulate Kane Hodder's words to let him in to the building, and Kane Hodder's character was not falling for it. But the Djinn seems to, again, more rules, seems to have to do whatever he's told in some ways. And Kane Hodder says, I want you to leave. And the Djinn sort of is forced, his body is forced to turn around and go, I am leaving now. And I was quite comical. Because it's almost like he's controlled that way as well.
I guess so. I mean... I suppose I didn't actually pick up on that, but that's a good shout. I guess it is. I guess that comes under the we've got the power to grant wishes, but there's a certain element of they're forced to. And certainly in other genie stories, like Aladdin probably being the best example. The genies are portrayed as slaves in most cases, aren't they? Yeah. They're forced to do this. So I guess there is a compulsion there to follow the orders, which is why he stops. But that must come up a lot.
What?
Well, people must just in general everyday speech. How often do you get an indirect order like that from somebody that tells you to do something, and you literally have to follow every directive that you're given? But also why you couldn't twist that, like, I want you to go away now. I mean, I suppose that's not too easy to twist into throwing it back on them, I suppose. But
if he was to say, like, your wish is my command, I want you to leave now, that doesn't really give the impression that it could affect Kane Hodder's character one bit.
Yeah, I don't think you could
like
twist that to.
You mentioned the store clerk. I want to be beautiful forever. Okay, we'll change to a mannequin that can be beautiful. He could have got away with that.
Like if he'd have said, "Get out! I want you to get out of my sight," then he'd have. Mortuary technician, he'd have had his eyes taken out or whatever.
Do you remember what he says to make that happen?
He says, because he's cutting. The Djinn is cutting off the guy's face, and he says, "I imagine this is something you don't want to see."
That's it. Yes, but he's He's said it, so that he's hoping the assistant will say yes.
So essentially, he sets up the wish, and he just needs him to agree to it. There's also several unnecessary statues in that mortuary, which takes me back to what I was saying earlier about there being statues everywhere in this film. There's about half a dozen at the back of that mortuary, and I'm like, pretty sure you don't need decorative statues in a morgue generally, but they are all over the place.
I'm glad I've got this film to hand now. I'm having a look. A mortuary. Here we go.
Just fast forward that VHS.
That's exactly what I'm doing. I'm watching a legit copy right now. We'll get onto that in a minute. Fire. We'll get onto that. I have problems with the fire aspect of this. Mortuary assistant. Here we go. Now, she gets a vision here. She gets visions throughout. Yeah.
And I don't know where that really comes from either. It's not overly clear as to how she's so connected to it.
Is it from when she was... Oh, by the way, in the mortuary, they're statues of, like, human body. They're, like...
Oh, okay. That makes a bit more sense then, I suppose. At a glance, I thought it was just... Well, I didn't know what I thought it was, but...
Prolific
medical.
Science museum. Science medical.
That makes sense then, I guess.
When
although
she
my point
first
still stands.
Well, yeah, it does. When she first inspects the gem, the gem kind of reacts to it, and I don't know if maybe there's some sort of power that goes into her, attaches to her, that she's somehow linked to the Djinn, that whenever he commits his atrocities, that she feels it.
Yeah,
you don't really get. It's not very clear.
Well, we know that she's the one that's targeted as being the one that awoke the Djinn.
Yeah.
But I mean, does she? Do we have any significant scene of her rubbing that jewel or anything like that? Like, it just seems to be because you're the main character, so you're the one that's going to be targeted. But arguably, there are a friend for one, but there are other people that come into contact with that gem beforehand. So there's no reason why it should be her as such.
I forgot about this bit, that when her best friend does die, the first death from the Djinn, basically, and it's a crime scene, basically, there's police everywhere, he's laying on the floor, she's able just to run into
she waltzes right in, doesn't she? Yeah.
How have they not gone?
And screaming her head off as well. It's not like calm. Like, I was watching that and I specifically thought, maybe she said, this is where my friend works, or but no, she just walks in screaming his name, throws herself at his feet, at his side.
It runs past some police officers, and then the detective's like, whoa, slow down, who are you? No, you can't just run into a crime scene like that.
With no other police officers from the street to the building's entrance, the room's entrance, that have managed to stop her. She's just tackled her way through.
We get a bit of background though to Alex's past in the story about how her parents. She still feels guilty about her parents dying in the house fire, and she got her younger sister Shannon out. So she's got this recurring PTSD, I guess, about the dying in the fire and whatnot. But she still sleeps with lit candles on at the end of her bed. I was so annoyed when I saw that.
Not that scared of fire. I mean, is that really relevant? Is some extra flavour sprinkled in?
I don't think it has any relevance.
I mean, obviously, it's set up later on that her sister's trapped in the painting and the Djinn adds the fire to it and she escapes. But that'd be pressing enough whether you had a past trauma involving house fire or not. So exactly. It just seems to be sprinkled in there as a little bit of extra flavour for the character, because it's not relevant to why she's selected as the one, or it's it's
even her guilt regarding the house fire doesn't really crop up or relate to anything.
No.
Regarding
the basketball coaching the young girls has more relevance on the.
Oh, what was that about? Is it stop and think or something? Stop and smell the rose. Focus.
Believe you can fly.
Yeah.
That's just reminded me, speaking of flying and the death sequences, the $1 million life insurance policy.
Oh, I love that scene.
Feels like a Family Guy cutaway gag.
Yeah. It's like 7 seconds long.
And we don't even see the aftermath of it. We don't even get to see him find out that that's how he's got the money. It's like, I can give you $1 million.
This is not long after the Djinn has got into the auction house building. He's got past Kane Hodder, and I think he's then speaking to Alex's boss, the sleazy guy, right?
Yeah.
And he wants to know what Alex is, get her address. And they go back and forth. But the wish itself, it's just out of nowhere. And you actually kind of had to think about it to try and understand how this makes sense. Okay, he must be a mother, flying, inheritance. Okay.
Yeah.
It's
I'm
mad.
going to leave it all to my son. But why is she signing a life insurance policy seconds before stepping on a plane as well?
You've never done that?
It's just everything about it's really weird. But it's so quick as well. It's literally, I'm going to leave the money to my son. Sign it. Plane exploding.
And it's not even a shot of the plane exploding. It's the plane flying off. It's some stock footage of a plane flying off with an explosion plugged in on top of it.
Over the top of it. Yeah.
And you always go on the EasyJet flight to Spain or something. You got to sign those waivers for where your next of kin, where you want your possessions and savings to go.
I mean, where are you flying to that you're offered $1 million policy?
But yeah, we don't see what happens to him, do we?
And there's no aftermath for it. That's purely just for the audience. He never finds out that he's getting that money and that he's died.
Or has he? Maybe the negative side of that wish is that his mum has been blown into a million pieces.
Well, it is. I mean, it is. Yeah, you get $1 million. The reason for it, the negative effect is that your mother's died for you to get that money. But we never see him finding that information out. It's literally a cutaway gag, and then it moves on. And it does stick out like a sore thumb. It's hilarious. I enjoyed it immensely.
And the other, I guess, if we're going through the minor deaths throughout, is the police here we go. The police officer.
Yeah.
But before that, the Djinn is trying to work out, he's doing a bit of detective work with himself. He's trying to find where Alex lives, so he goes to the police officer's desk in the police station, and to the side is that bum who's being questioned for murder. Who
I was convinced, I did look it up and it's not, but I was convinced it was Wilson.
Exactly what I thought. I thought
really?
It was Luke Wilson. I thought it was Luke Wilson.
Luke Wilson, I'm sure that's Luke. Who's the spit of him?
Yep. Yeah, I thought so too, but the nose just wasn't big enough. So,
but at a glance, definitely. So, wish Luke Wilson is being interviewed on an adjacent desk.
Yeah, and our detective is talking to the Djinn, just wishing or pleading to himself that he just hopes that this scumbag gets locked up and gets what he deserves. And he gets more than that. He gets blown away because again, this is back to the rules. The Djinn is able to, with his finger, just take control of this scumbag magically, who picks up one of the cops' guns and just starts blasting everywhere, which then results in him getting blasted away by the other cops. But
Yeah.
he's able just to do it whenever he wants. But I thought he needs a specific wish to then grant powers.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. It doesn't need to. There's no. You don't need that. I wish.
No.
I wish this will happen. Although, actually, maybe thinking about it, he does say, "I wish that we could get that guy dead to rights with 9 eyeball witnesses." Something.
Yeah.
So I think in that specific situation, he does actually say, "I wish," but yeah, it's almost like you just need to say it out loud in his presence. You don't need to say it to him. It doesn't need to be, "Tom, I wish that this guy gets caught." It's just, you could just express it, and it'll come off and it'll happen. But yeah, he, again, maybe a little bit of a genie did it, magical manipulation, because that gun is really easily within reach. It's just somebody's left, like the detective that's interviewing him has just taken his gun out, sat down, and put it on the desk next to him.
Barely gets off his seat. It's just there.
It's just there. It's a good little scene, though. Lots of blood packs popping off left and right. It's good fun.
We come back to that scene though with the cop when he's ringing Alex with some information. I'm just trying to find it now as to, because he dies on the phone. I can't remember. I think he just has like a heart attack. The Djinn just caused him to have a heart attack or something on the phone, which Alex then gets the premonition and feels it herself. Yeah, it doesn't look like there's anything substantial that really happens to him on camera.
No.
So yeah, there's a nice sprinkling of just deaths to keep him busy throughout while the story's progressing. One of the other characters that we do meet, is she like the theatre teacher? Or she's a director?
Oh, she's
that
a
Robert
professor.
England. A professor, yeah.
Yeah, she's a professor of history, I think, specialising in like the Middle East or folklore of the Middle East. Or she's a genie expert, essentially.
Yeah. And she's the one that states, the Djinn, they're not like your Robin Williams types. From I like that little mention. It's a really cool.
Because they must have been. When was Disney's Aladdin? They must have been around the same time.
I would have thought so. Yeah, mid-90s. I mean, was
92,
Aladdin
92?
Yeah, Aladdin and Lion King were very close together. I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Aladdin was 92. So yeah, this is 5 years. 5 years later, so Robin Williams very much a genie in everybody's mind at that point.
But she's kind of your exposition bit after Robert England says, "Go to her. She'll tell you what's up. She'll tell all of you, the audience, what's up, basically.
All about genies."
Yeah.
Does anything untoward happen to her?
Yeah, she loses her face.
Oh God, I just blanked on this totally.
So there's actually a really cool scene I quite liked. This is when the Djinn in human form is looking for Alex. He's just stumbling around this apartment. We don't know whose apartment it is, but I think you assume it's Alex's because you don't see much of Alex's apartment to begin with. He's stumbling around. He's being a dick. He changes the time on one of the clocks. Like, what a dick move. When Alex then later on goes to this said apartment, you only see her enter through the front door. The camera doesn't follow her through. When she's in the apartment, you start to recognize, hang on, this is the same apartment from earlier on where the Djinn was. And it's, I forget her name, the woman we were just discussing.
Yeah, the what is her name? Professor somebody or other.
Yeah. So it's her apartment. So the Djinn has been in her apartment, but then the character herself is acting a bit strange. So you start to build up thoughts in your head and trying to work it out yourself, thinking, okay, is she in danger? Is this her? Has the Djinn turned into her? Because as we've seen before, all he needs is a face to turn into a human form. And you start to work it out yourself.
Professor Wendy Derleth, she's called.
Okay, so you're starting to work it out yourself, and then when there are some lines that she starts to mention that seem very out of place for her character, more in place for the Djinn. You're like, okay, she's dead somewhere. He's taken her face, which you do see. You see the skin face of Wendy on a bed, I think, in the bedroom.
Yeah.
And I think that's when Alex starts to work it out as well. So I like that. Like, I always love it when you are working stuff out along the main character, which I discussed with the Wicker Man. You know, perfect, one of the perfect examples. So that was cool. And then that's where we lead into the amazing set design of the Wishmasters domain.
Yeah. It's very, very cheap looking.
Yeah, because I always think about sets. Like I mentioned earlier about how the original Persian castle would look like a set because they never showed any windows. Well, windows in Persia, you know, holes in the walls to look so you could see outside. The mansion at the end, all the windows were frosted or clouded because it's a set. If they weren't, you could see through to the studio. This set of the Wishmasters domain, it just got me thinking, okay, it's meant to be some sort of cave, okay, meant to be some sort of cave or whatever, wherever we are. What's outside of these cheaply made tunnels? What do I need to imagine is outside? Is there these fantasy castles, these fantasy lands? Like, what is it?
I mean, is it? I took it to be the interior of the Jewel.
Yeah. Probably
because
is what
there's
it
a
is.
scene where he's looking, we see his eye looking into it.
So
it's like the interior, you know, to do the Arabian Nights or I Dream of Genie or whatever. It's like the inside of the lamp.
Yes. Yeah. Makes sense.
Where he resides. I mean, physically, that's a tent that they put up in a soundstage.
We've got to cut some holes in it. A couple of smoke machines at the bottom.
Yeah, and it's very, very basic. But
then if it's like that, right? It's arched, right? Mm-hmm. What is the floor solid? Is the floor just nice pathway? Like,
yeah,
has he carved that out?
A genie did it.
A genie did it. Sorry, it's magic. Yeah,
it's magic. That's all you need to know. It's just magic.
She gets chased by
it's anybody's best guess, I guess. But yeah, I took it to be the interior of the Jewel.
She gets chased by his pet dog.
Yeah, he put a little, which I thought may have been Vern Troyer.
Hey, you might as well get the money's worth out of him.
Yeah, his little weird dog Skeksis sort of thing. It
really reminded me of something else, and I still, for the life of me, cannot remember what or think what it's reminding me of. I got a bit of Predator 2 vibes from the ship at the end of Predator 2.
Oh, yeah, that's a good shout. Yeah, that is a good shout. Yeah, no, same for me. I was looking at it and thinking, almost like I've seen this set before. This has been reused somewhere else. And I couldn't decide whether it was a music video.
Look at that.
Maybe. I mean, yeah. I think that's it. I think that's the vibe, definitely. The Predator 2 ship. Waist deep smoke.
Yeah, the orange, red tint.
Lights, yeah, orangey red tint and lots of sort of lights behind panels and sheets and things. It also, a little bit as well, and I think it's just... I actually wondered if it was deliberate again, but little bit of Alien 3 vibes.
Yeah.
With the foundry scene at the end, and we're seeing from the Xenomorph POV, and it's running over tunnels and over the ceilings and things.
Yeah, for sure.
But also Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey when they go to hell and they're being chased by the Easter Bunny through the tunnels.
Very different
all of
films.
That was sort of going on in my head while watching them. But yeah, no, I think you've nailed it there, mate. I think the Predator 2 ship is what it resembles the most.
Yeah,
definitely.
More of a think on that, but it's the only one off the top of my head I can think of that really resembles it. Yeah, it's it's a shame, and it isn't. It's got a bit of soul to the movie, you know. It is what it is. Like it's the out of all the effects, it's probably the least appealing, well made, shall we say?
It feels a bit rushed.
Yeah,
it feels a little bit. Klingon ship from Star Trek.
Yeah,
I think they're all red tinged and dark and smoky like that. Certainly one of the Star Trek movies. Yeah, it's like, oh, quick, we need the interior of the jewel. What have we got?
Yeah.
I could cut some holes in this sheet. Yeah, sure, do that.
I think they could have gone. You look at a crystal. I mean, the jewel itself, like I said, was pristine. It was lovely, but crystals normally it's angular area, right? So do either angular mirrors or angular glass.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe glass, but not black out the backs of the glass with red vinyl or whatever, and then dim the lights, keep the smoke, but just have it a bit more crystal like.
I think they could have done better to make it look more crystal. I think that's the issue, and it does. And I'd say it's not even something that's just aged poorly. I think it's a bit naff, just completely.
Oh, you wouldn't get away with that nowadays.
No. Yeah, it doesn't. They could have made it look a lot more, visually made that. That we're inside the jewel a little bit stronger.
Yeah. Well, I mean, after that, we come to the crescendo. The mansion scenes, Robert England's
Wayne's manor,
which is a fucking maze of corridors. When there's a bit towards, I'm rushing ahead in this mansion. When shit hits the fan and there's this party at the mansion, when she's running down the corridors, it's like run down this, turn left, run to right, left.
There are no doors. There are no.
There's no doors. It's just corridors.
It's literally just corridor.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, with all these sort of statues of warriors lining it, which reminded me very much of the Wayne Manor scene in, I think it's the first Michael Keaton Batman movie.
Yeah.
Where he's got a similar collection of weapons
eccentric
and armor.
millionaire.
Yeah. Which I hope one day to aspire to something similar because it is a vibe I'm here for. Having the little ninja statues and the Roman soldier and such.
Dude,
they're very cool.
Those were, we had some great practical gore effects, but the 4 statues that come alive at the end of this film are incredible.
They look
effects
great.
Wise. They're someone in a suit, right? They're stuntman in a suit, but the effects on them look fantastic. They're not their human faces painted or airbrushed. They are wearing latex masks or whatever, but they look and move like statues that are moving.
Yeah.
They're fantastic.
Yeah, it is really good. I mean, you can, as soon as she enters that,
you knew it.
You know full well they're going to come to life.
They're side by side, 2 on each side. Prominent camera shot. Okay, we're dealing with these guys.
But you can see it coming. It's very, very telegraphed, but it does not disappoint. They come alive, and like the guy that gets hit with the mace in the face.
Oh, it dents his skull.
It's very, very graphic.
It's the little touches though that, like, it's a
done.
mace. It wouldn't just boing knock him out with a few birds flying around his head and looking dizzy. It
does
caved
what it's meant
in
to
and
do.
Dented his skull.
It does what it's meant to do. It absolutely obliterates his head. Yeah, no, it's brilliant. I liked it a lot.
The whole scene, like it's his party, and then what did you say he asked for?
Well, again, it's the Djinn sort of setting it up and suggesting it. He says something along the line. I can't remember, but it's something along the lines of, "I once served somebody who wanted one of their parties to be talked about forever or to go down in history or something like that. Like, I can do the same for you," is essentially what he says.
Yeah.
And he says, "Oh yeah, I'd like, this is Robert." oh yeah, I'd like that. Yeah, he's all for it. So then he, wiggles his nose.
And we get an
blinks,
array of deaths here as well.
Clicks his fingers, and yeah, everything kicks off, and the piano attacks somebody, and
Pazuzu gets involved.
Statues come alive. What else do we have?
The first one is a woman who she turns to glass or silver or metal.
That's it. She
solidifies.
She says something like, "You've always been able to see through me."
Yeah.
And instantly turns into crystal.
That's it.
Glass, and then explodes.
Yeah. One guy gets like a bolt through. It's like the side of his cheek into his mouth. The Pazuzu one, I believe. Hang on, I've got it here. Pazuzu. I am Pazuzu. Fuck that film. Here she is. So she's turned to glass. Oh, there's the spike through the cheek, the piano wire. Very Hellraiser-esque, that piano wire one.
It is. Oh, we have another little Hellraiser scene. In the crystal earlier, we have the...
Yes!
It's all the previous wishes that have been granted, all their various torture, or being tortured or being imprisoned. It's supposedly their souls have been captured, isn't it? And it's the detective's chest flayed.
Yeah. Bit of Event Horizon as well, I thought. Yeah, it's all four of them, right? It's the store clerk in the mannequin.
Yeah. The homeless guy.
There we go then. The detective with his chest flayed. So that's in theory how he bit it. The student in the science school of medicine with his eyes stitched shut. And who was the other one? Is it Kane Hodder?
I don't think we actually see him, but he will be in there at some point.
Yeah.
We're led to believe, because we're hearing like wails and stuff from like off camera and behind the walls and things. I think it's basically. I think we're supposed to understand. We're led to believe that every wish that's granted, the soul of that person becomes trapped in that jewel. So I don't think we see Kane Hodder again, but it's implied that he's there because all the other victims are.
I found the Pazuzu death. So it's like he's moved the statue into the main hall, because the statue was in his collector's room and the statue is now in this main hall where everyone's having the party. So it looks like these snakes, or his Pazuzu's fingers, suddenly elongate and come out like snakes. It's a snake. One flies into this guy's face and literally embeds it into his face there. And that's a pretty cool effect. That looks a bit the Thing, sort of the gooey.
Yeah. Is that the same guy that we later see strung upside down and they're all like eating his neck and his chest? Or who's the victim? Like, I thought it was. I must have glanced away or something at that point, but I thought he was being eaten by piranhas. And there's a guy like he's
I don't remember that.
Suspended upside down, and there are little.
No, I don't think
to be piranhas chewing on his
piranhas
throat. Yeah, I mean,
same
it might
film.
not be. I'm pretty sure. Yeah,
I don't remember any of that.
The other thing I've watched recently is The Forever Purge, and it definitely didn't happen in that.
Here we go. His neck tentacles are moving about. There we go. This is what you wished for.
Oh, another little cameo. The pharmacy customer mentioned is Tom Savini. The pharmacy customer.
Is it? I thought it was. I saw those beautiful black locks of his.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was. He always has to get involved. He gets a little role every now and then, doesn't he?
Oh, we also have the Jack the Ripper character jumping out of the painting. And
oh, Christ. Yeah, you're right.
Cutting somebody's throat.
Yeah. There's a... Oh, here we go. Okay, I found... Sorry, the guy hanging upside down I don't. It's just someone.
It's just somebody
and
else.
It's about. It's like his neck and a little bit further down his body, to basically above where his heart is. There's like these little tentacles, just tails just flapping around. I don't really know what's going on.
I think it must be something that I think they'll go out. It's either it's like a blink you'll miss it, or something that's just it's happened and we didn't see it, but this is the aftermath of it, sort of thing.
Fantastic. And then, the next cut is the Djinn just down in a glass of champagne and walking through all the madness. It's a chaotic scene. It really is.
Unless it's maybe it's a deleted scene. Maybe there is deleted scenes showing.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, the little creature. It's just. Yeah. And, oh my god! And then Robert England gets it really bad. While he pukes out.
Yes.
That's where it's like a little creature comes out.
I was thinking about that as well. Looked like somebody had melted, but it's not. It's that he vomits up some beast.
The special features for was it 4K? Was it HD? Was it just Blu-ray?
I think it's just Blu-ray.
Either way, the special features have got to be fun for this series. Yeah,
I think so. Definitely, I'm going to try and get that box set.
Yeah, I think I'm going to as well now. I'm in. But the whole end scene, in his mansion it's so chaotic. It's great fun.
Yeah, it is good. Oh, it's good, and it's a nice mirror in Prologue as well, where we get, it's the Djinn on the edge of winning. Basically, he's about to, he only needs one more wish or whatever. He's ready to sort of demonstrate his power and let the sparks fly, and he's not necessarily trying to hide himself.
You see that?
Yeah,
look at that shot. The shot I've just sent through our chat is what we just discussed about 5 minutes ago about the 4 statues that come to life. That the camera is just dead center of this hallway, 2 either side, with Alex in the middle, and they are positioned perfectly to the point of they are going to be involved in the next shot no matter what.
100%.
Yeah,
100%. They are not. That is not scenery. That is something that's going to come into play.
Jack the Ripper, yeah.
Yeah, the Jack the Ripper was a fun one.
Yeah, I forgot all about it. Yeah.
My girlfriend turned to me and said, "Why would you have a painting of Jack the Ripper?"
I mean, yeah, it can't really be anything else, can it?
I think it's credited as the Ripper. I did wonder if it was meant to be Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde at first, but I think it's credited as the Ripper.
What do you think about how this film ends?
As in the wish that she makes to win.
Yeah, and then leading on to, have we gone back in time? Have we restarted time? Has everyone forgotten what's happened and we're just...
Yeah, we don't really... So basically, she wishes that the crane operator hadn't been drinking on the job.
Yeah, she thinks back to it.
Yeah. And it flashes up his name several times, and I can't remember what his name is.
Joe Pilar.
But yeah, he Mickey Torelli.
Right.
It's Joseph Pilar.
Yeah.
That's his character.
Yeah, it's Rhodes.
Yeah. So she wishes. Yeah, she makes the wish that he hadn't been drinking on the job the day, or 2 days ago, is what she says. I wish she hadn't been drinking on the job 2 days ago. So essentially, that comes true, which means he didn't bungle the statue lift, which means it didn't break, which means the jewel wasn't found. So it effectively undoes everything nice and neat, and there's no way that it can be twisted.
Yeah.
I mean, it works.
It does. It does.
I mean, it's taking a bit of a gamble that he's competent at his job anyway.
Yeah. It's also taking a gamble that wishing for something in the past will work.
Yeah.
Because the past doesn't exist. It's happened. So that kind of, again, plays loose and fast with their rules of reality, time and whatnot.
It does, but I think it's quite clever. I think it's quite a clever.
It is.
Given, just because it's, how would you do it otherwise? You know, it wraps it up nice and neatly, and it does.
Nice little.
It does work. Like there's no real explanation as to whether they do. Anybody remembers anything? I don't think. I mean, we see Alexandra. Well, I don't know. Does she? Maybe she does, because she takes up her friend's offer of a date, doesn't she?
Yeah.
She says, "Oh, you know," which unless she kind of knew that how she felt, he died, and how she felt, it's but she's just done a complete.
But it's like,
for no reason.
Does she know what has happened in those 2 days? Yet she's
we get no concrete evidence, do we? Apart from
no one else knows.
Apart from she decides that she's going to go on a date with her friend.
Because if this was all back in time, back to the point of the crate being dropped from the boat, and she is at the state of 2 days ago, that means she has no idea that a Djinn exists, that the gem exists, that this could possibly happen. Like, what if another thing happens and the gem gets stolen and broken and the Djinn escapes? Like, this could all happen again, technically. It's just that scenario, that way of the gem being found and sold and the Djinn escaping is the scenario that's not going to happen. It could happen another way.
I mean, it could. You know, arguably the Djinn could have twisted that wish that, all right, it wasn't drinking on the job that, a pigeon flew at his face and startled him, or you know what I mean? It could have engineered it could have engineered something else to go wrong. But he didn't. So there's, again, it's not wishy-washy rules, but it's that vagueness of the fact that the rules are vague means that we can't really question it too closely, because there's no parameters really.
And I don't mind that.
Can't control. No, like I said, I think it works. And so he's sealed back up in the gem, and we get that shot of it zooming through the center of the statue and into there, and he, gives his little laugh or whatever he does. And I don't know. I'd have to pick up the second movie and find out how he gets out that time. Because I can't remember. It's a long time since I saw it.
Problem is, I now want to discuss the other movies.
Well, we'll have to do them.
Yeah, because
we'll have to do them. I'm really pleased. Yeah, I'm really, really pleased that it stood up as it did in my memory. I mean, it's not a blockbuster. It's not a must see, but it's a lot of fun. Definitely an enjoyable watch.
It's not scary.
No,
it's not scary at all. It's an 18, and it can fall into the horror genre for sure, but it's not scary. It's, I don't know how you would class it.
I mean, horror fantasy. It's more, like I say, more of a sort of fantasy film. Yeah, horror fantasy. And like I say, well, like we've said, it could have been a TV movie. It's or it could have been an extended episode of, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, or something like that. Yeah, it's not. You could sanitize it quite easily. I mean,
very much so.
The rating must come from the language and must come from the occasional glimpses of the gory bits, which there's a decent amount, but it's not saturated.
Yeah.
I mean, some of the kills are bloodless completely. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I guess if it was released today, I don't think it'd get an 18 certificate. Maybe a 15.
I wonder how long the gap was between each film. Like what they did 4.
They did 4, yeah.
Series. So let's see when they were released. 99.
2099.
Oh wow, they're really close. 2001 and 2002.
Oh, okay.
So within the span of 5 years, they got 4 films out of it.
They churned them out.
Looks like different people playing the Djinn. So 2. Okay, so Divoff plays the Djinn in 1 and 2, and you've got a new actor in 3 and 4.
I get the feeling, and I don't know for certain, but I feel like maybe the first 2 got cinema releases, and then we were straight to that.
Oh wow! Wishmaster 2 on Rotten Tomatoes has 9%.
Yeah, I don't think they.
Holy shit!
I don't think they reviewed well at all.
Wishmaster 3, 17%. Wishmaster 4, 23%. And Wishmaster 1, 25. Apparently people didn't like the second one.
So the second one is the worst one, apparently.
Apparently.
I mean, I have seen the second one, I'm pretty sure. I don't think I've seen 3 or 4.
Well, we'll have to fit these in for sure, because...
But we will. I want to try and go over them.
I want to get involved. in the Wishmaster series, because I think the thing I've taken out of this the most is he's a new favourite of mine as a character in the world. I love him.
He's an excellent character. I do like, actually, on IMDb, if you look at Wishmaster, the more under the more like this section is obviously the sequels.
Yeah.
The Warlock movies, which I mentioned last week.
Oh yes, you did. Yeah.
Hellraiser's on there, Leprechaun and Puppet Master, and I feel like
Phantasm
and Pumpkinhead and Phantasm, and I feel like they're all sort of cult classic.
Yeah,
like
for sure.
It's at home in that. Maybe not everybody's favorite, but horror fans' favorites. You know what I mean? Because horror fans, we've seen a lot of stuff. We've seen the best of the best and the worst of the worst, and I think
the Outwaters.
I think you're gonna get, your average mainstream cinema goer is not gonna. Oh yeah, Wishmaster was brilliant, but I think that you'll get a fair few going. Oh, Wishmaster was pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad you picked it, man. I really am.
Yeah,
it was the nice. It just conveniently capped off our, after doing an awful episode last week. Not the episode, the film. This brought us back to a good level, and
yeah,
I'm really glad we did it. I really am.
Yeah,
it was a fun watch. Great talk. I mean, hell, we've been going for nearly 2 hours.
Wow, yeah, it's good. Doesn't feel like that.
Did you have much more you wanted to say?
No, I think I've covered pretty much all my notes, and like I said, I guess I'll say it again. Just I'm pleased that it stood the test of time in my memory, because I was a little bit. I've said a few times, like going into this, like, I've got fond memories of it. And I was when I sat down to put it on, I thought, I really hope it does stand up to my memory of it, and I enjoyed it immensely. It's a bit cheesy and a bit naff in places.
Oh yeah,
but
yeah.
It was great to watch it again. I did thoroughly enjoy watching it.
I think that feeling of thinking back to a film like this and thinking, oh, it was amazing, and then is it? It's kind of that blind nostalgia that a lot of people get with video games. You know,
Sure.
that PlayStation 1 game, that SNES game was, it was amazing. And then when they go back to play it, go, this is rubbish. This looks shit. This is hard. It's blind nostalgia because you remember it, how your memory your brain saw it as a kid or whatever.
Yeah.
And when you saw it then, nothing looked better. Nothing played better. This was peak gaming. And now, over time, it's not. So you go back to play it and this doesn't really hold up. This film, I could recommend this to people and go, you won't be scared, but it's great fun.
Oh, yeah.
Great effects. If you like cheesy 90s stuff, you'll love this. It's an easy story to follow along. It's something different in the horror world.
Get
Check
some
it out.
snacks, put your feet up.
Only an hour and a half. Yeah. That's a thumbs up. Do you know what?
Thumbs up.
Back to rankings because our Waters didn't deserve it. I think this is a fair 5.8 to 6 out of 10. 6 out of 10. 6.6 out of 10. I think this is maybe a 6.4.
I'd go a little bit higher. I think maybe 6.5. Yeah.
I'll go with a 6.5. Yeah, 6.5 out of 10. This is a good C plus B minus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good one. Yeah. If it's on, it's one of those. If it's on TV, if you, I mean, people don't really do this anymore. But if you were surfing the channels, thinking, surfing the channel, if you surfing the web, if you flick, it's late night, you're flicking through the TV channels, and you think, if there's nothing good on them, and you happened across Wishmaster, you'd go, I'll watch this. Yeah, I've not seen this for a bit. I'll watch it.
Definitely. Yes.
It's worth a go.
So that is Wishmaster, folks. All around solid. It's time to cap off May, to bookend May now, next week. And we still don't know what we're going to do. We need to work this out this week.
Well, let's do it now. Pick
what are we
one,
gonna do?
Tom. Pick the film. Pick the monster.
Dracula. Let's start strong.
Let's start with Dracula. Okay.
Dr. Acula.
You've heard it.
Let's start with
Dr. Acula. Dr. Acula.
And how's about you pick the one after, and I'll pick, and then we'll go back and forth.
That's how we'll do it. Fair enough. Yeah.
So next week, our brand new series on the Dreadcast, The Monsters of Universal, the classics. We will be going through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8-part series. So it's going to be going for a while, folks, so stay tuned. We're going to be looking at the classic Monsters of Universal, starting next week with Dracula, Bela Lugosi's Dracula, Todd Browning. I actually watched this not long ago. It's a great film. I
have watched that one, to be honest.
Really? This is when people go, that's a classic. No, these are classics. These are ultimate classics in the horror world. These are original horror films.
Yeah. The one I watched most recently was Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Yeah, that's. Did you know who played the creature?
No.
I'm going to check this out because I don't want to spit back. I am near enough sure it's Ted White who played the original Jason.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. I'm fairly certain his first role was the creature from Creature of the Black Lagoon. I'm going to confirm that now for you folks because I don't want to look like a fool. And I'm probably wrong. Creature from the Black Lagoon. Here we go. Oh no. I can't see his name anywhere.
No.
Damn it.
I think you're wrong, mate.
Oh no, where did... I can cut this out, it's fine.
It was 2 actors.
Alex.
Depending on whether it was on land or in... And neither were that name that you said. Unless it's a different version of the creature.
Find this out.
It was like a later version or something.
cutting this shit out. That's all right. Damn it! Where did I get that information from? Because I'm gonna complain.
Stick with the Dreadcast, folks. Made up facts.
Stick with.
For all your horror needs.
I'm right. I'm gonna find out, and next week we'll come back to where I found out that information and how wrong I was. Anyway, next week, Dr. Acula Dracula, the original Bela Lugosi Dracula. So stay tuned for that.
Universal classic movie monster marathon.
Yes, and you, sir, need to give me 2 films so I can get June's schedule up and running. So stay tuned to the Twitter and the Instagram, and we'll be posting June's schedule. The first film, actually, of June will be The Beyond. The second in the Gates of Hell trilogy after City of the Living Dead, so stay tuned for that. And, of course, part 2 in June of our Monster Universal. But we've got two films that Mr. Aidan here has to pick for his birthday treat.
I'll tell you what, I'll give you one now.
Because what is it?
We've been talking about doing this one for a bit, and I think there's in the near future there's a re-release of this and a video game coming out related to this. Let's do Toxic Avenger.
Oh, very nice, very nice.
Let's do the Toxic Avenger because I've been wanting to do some more trauma.
Yep.
And yeah, there is that.
Down
Toxic
for that.
Crusaders beat them up on the way, and Toxic's getting a new 4K release.
Yep. Fine with me, sir. Fine with me.
And I will get back to you with the other pick soon.
Perfect.
Too.
No worries. Cool. Well, there you go. Heard it there, folks. So June's shaping up to be a good one. Check out the Spotify. Check out the Dreadcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon, Podbean, and YouTube. All by searching the Dreadcast. And again on the Twitter and Instagram. Please do give it a follow.
Yeah, drop us a follow, like, share, let all your friends, family, neighbours know. Get us out there. And thank you, everybody, for listening, watching, and for those likes and shares and follows.
Big thank you. Big thank you. And I believe that's it. So until next time.
Stay spooky, guys.
Well done. Stay spooky.